Hello and welcome to Creating Canon with your hosts AJ Hamilton and No Cabeza Permanente.
Yeah! Woot woot!
That's this guy over here.
What's up, what's up? No Cabeza
Permanente,
which means
no permanent head. Wait, what did you think it meant?
I thought it had to do with melon.
Yeah, no permanent melon. No, no honeydew.
No honey don't.
No. And Nicholas C. Pappas.
The C stands for cantaloupe.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Jay, how's it going?
It's going great.
Good.
I just watched this movie.
So did I.
What? You did?
I did.
Oh my gosh, what was it called?
It was called...
Fievel Goes West.
Doghead Man. No, it's called The Borrower from 1991. Not to be confused with The Borrowers, with an S attached to it.
Don't confuse that.
Do not.
Don't get this for your kid.
Or get this for your kid, and then he can turn out just
very
like
interesting.
me.
Just like you.
Just like me.
Oh my.
Yeah, this is a late entry into the canon film Au revoir.
Mm-hmm.
This is after Golan left canon. It was actually originally produced by the Atlantic Entertainment Group in 1988, which was before Golan left canon. But it sat on the shelf for 3 years after the Atlantic Entertainment Group went belly up, as they say.
Yes.
Canon
Many people
bought
say
it
that.
in 91, and they went ahead and released it.
Well, what a purchase.
Yeah. I actually, so this is, it's, I will say right now that as of the recording, it is free on Vudu with ads.
Heck yeah.
And it's only like a $3 rental.
Right, yeah, so.
And I know I'm jumping pretty far ahead, but like, this is one of those ones that's actually well worth the $3.
Oh my God. Yes, it is. If you want to see something that'll just blow your mind.
Yeah. Hey, that's funny.
Get it?
That's funny.
Get it? Oh my God. Hey, what are you doing over there? What do you got over there? Do you got a summary of this?
All right.
Yeah,
ready?
let's do that.
A serial killing alien is punished with life on Earth. His head explodes, and he must replace his head with other heads. At the same time, Rae Dawn Chong arrests a criminal named Scully. Will these two storylines ever converge? Watch The Borrower to find out.
Maybe.
Maybe not. Not really.
Now, does Mulder come into this at any point?
Oh, boy.
I know, that's what this is going to be like.
I was honestly thinking of a Mulder pun through the entire movie, and every single one of them was like, no. Oh. That one's pretty cheesy.
It's a little foxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing about cheesy...
Yeah.
is cheese and mold are sort of
Mulder, yeah,
cheese,
that's better.
Mulder.
And his first name was Fox.
No, I got
but
it.
Foxy doesn't really make any sense in this context.
Well, I mean, Fox is part of the canine family. Doghead
Man.
Doghead Man.
All right, you're gonna understand that in just a little bit.
Are you?
Maybe not.
Because I watched this movie and I'm not sure I understand it, but I'm cool.
I understand this perfectly. This movie is so straightforward, and it starts out with
insanity from the scene,
like
fucking one.
It explains everything. Okay.
And nothing.
Well,
Well, the director of this movie, John McNaughton, made exactly 3 movies other than this. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. The movie Wild Things with Denise Richards and Neve Campbell. And then Mad Dog and Glory.
I've seen 2 of the 3 of those, actually.
You've definitely seen Wild Things.
Yeah, and Mad Dog. I own Mad Dog and Glory for some reason. I don't know why.
That is so weird.
I think I had it on VHS, in fact.
That is such a weird...
That's Mad Dog and Glory. That's with Robert De Niro?
Yeah, and Bill Murray and Uma Thurman.
I must have gotten it for Bill Murray. Yeah.
I think he owns a copy.
Sure.
Oh, you mean because he was in it,
right?
Not for Bill Murray.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't.
I probably would have thrown it away.
Probably,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
Hey, don't be mad, dog.
So this...
I'm sorry, I'm gonna go.
This movie...
Yeah, okay, so this movie is fucking nuts, because...
It opens up in space.
Yep. Well, there's an alien creature...
Yep.
Who has... And this is really... At first, it's sort of confusing, because it's like an alien creature and a human.
Yeah.
And the alien creature's like, you're a serial killer.
You bad person.
You bad person. We were going to murder you, but instead we've decided to punish you even further.
By devolving you.
Into a human.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to let you loose on Earth.
That whole concept reminded me of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, yes, with the devolving.
Right, the devolving and whatever. And but these aliens, they actually talk about it. They say they look like a mixture between a lizard and a bug.
Yeah, that's right. A blizzard and a bug. A blizzard.
Right, yeah.
A blizzard. Portmanteau that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the opening, and it's just in white. It's just white.
It's a weird... It's sort of striking, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's also cutting between that and space, right?
No.
Or is it just one shot?
I think it's space, and it's just one shot of the alien and the dude, and then it goes to
it goes outside when they're dropping
credits.
them off. Right.
Which has this, like, crazy, like, late 80s, early 90s, like, synth plus guitar that was on fire.
Yes.
It was crazy. So first of all, we should mention that the tone of this movie is hard to pin down, because it's partially a horror movie, partially like a thriller, and then partially just a flat-out comedy.
And they don't really commit to any of them?
Well, I feel like this is one of those movies where I feel like it has really good rewatchability value.
Oh, sure.
Because there's the opening moment where there's that father and son character who are like... First of all, when the alien first drops off the other creature, the humanoid...
In his human form.
His human form. They call him the borrower, so let's just call him the borrower. When the alien drops off the borrower, there's like these two guys watching it, who are, we find out eventually are father and son.
Yeah, that was not clear at all.
No, and they're in the car hunting deer. And it's like, starts off with this like weird close-ups of fire on like tongues and a beer can and cigarettes.
Yeah, and the dad has a gun with a Sprite bottle silencer.
Yeah, which, is that a real thing?
Maybe. It seems like they wouldn't have made it up for the movie. I mean,
who knows?
We don't have a silencer. Go get a bottle.
Go get a 2-liter Sprite bottle. Okay.
All right.
I guess so. Okay. And this movie is crazy. And it's weird because they both have like these southern accents.
Yeah.
Right? And then it turns out the movie is in LA. At this point, I thought the movie was like in the South.
Kansas or something.
Yeah. And then there's also, and this is where the rewatchability comes from, by the way, the jokes is like, the father says something to the son about like, you better not do that or I'll knock your head off. Which is exactly what the plot line of the movie. And there's a bunch of lines in this movie where it's like, such and such, or I'll bop you in the head, or I'll crush your, where they just sort of like
don't lose your head.
Yeah.
And maybe that's watchability, and maybe that's just hack writing.
It's a little bit of
Who
both.
knows,
But at this point, you couldn't have known.
It's true,
unless you saw the preview or knew what it was about.
Right, yeah. And who does that?
Yeah, not me.
No.
They shoot the alien.
They go up to the humanoid guy expecting a thanks.
Well, yeah, so that's what happens is like the alien and the humanoid are getting into a fist fight.
Right.
And because the humans see a humanoid figure...
They're like, oh, we got to save the human guy.
Yeah, because the other guy is obviously an alien, which I actually thought was a really smart move.
It is an interesting misunderstanding that sets the stuff in motion.
Yeah. And they shoot the alien, they try to get the humanoid guy like punches the dude.
He punches the guy, and apparently...
The father and son.
Right. He looks down at his hand like he's injured it.
Yeah.
And that was sort of a warning that the alien gave the borrower at the beginning. He said, hey, take care of your body because you're unstable now, or something like that. And you might be able to survive if you're resourceful.
Right.
Which is mysterious.
Something about instability.
Yeah. So he...
Because of the
There's never
devolvement.
Right. But there's never any consistency throughout the movie on what causes this guy to get quote unquote unstable.
Right.
But
because
still,
in the first scene it's punching a dude.
Right.
And what ends up happening when he becomes unstable, his head blows up like the dude from Scanners.
Yes, exactly. Which the effects on this, not bad.
No, they're pretty great.
The hands transforming into whatever claws they transform into, and the head just blows up like a balloon.
Yeah. This is where I think there's some really funny stuff, is like the humanoid's head explodes, and then the father and son get into an argument about like, we're going to sell it, who are you going to sell it to, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
And the father's like, son, I need you to go to our neighbor Tom's house and get his van. And the son's like, why don't we just put it in the trunk of our car? And the dad goes, I'm not putting that thing in my car, which I thought was really funny. Like, I just thought there's really funny gags throughout the movie.
And it's sort of not even gags, it's truthful humor.
Because I wouldn't put that thing in my car. Like, I wouldn't want that blood everywhere.
No, sir.
Oh, God.
Ugh. Gross.
Although that does actually force me to ask the question of, if they had killed the deer,
what they were going to do with the deer.
Were they going to... Because that's still blood.
Yeah, field dress it in the woods.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was like a national forest reserve or something like that.
But it was like Griffith Park.
Yeah,
man. It was so weird.
I mean, because it takes no time at all to get from here to a hospital. Then afterwards.
Well, Angeles National Forest is not that far out of LA,
no,
but still.
It's not. But still, that takes a while. I've driven there.
About 45 minutes,
maybe.
Right?
And he is with that annoying girl. The borrower is with
an
annoying girl for a while.
Well, before he gets into we meet the annoying girl, we actually meet Rae Dawn Chong, who is sort of a boring girl. She is.
She is. It wasn't that she wasn't committed to this role. It was that she was not committed to being a cop. Like, she was acting in a lot of the things, but it wasn't like she had gone to any cop training at all.
Well, I feel like she was in a different movie.
I think so.
Like, everyone was doing one movie, and she was like, that's interesting, all of your choices.
I'm going to be subtle.
I'm going to be so subtle that people are going to fall asleep, because, it was so weird. She was like, oh, look, there's Scully. Let's go get him.
Let's go get him. He's awful.
He's awful. And then, like, run to get him. Oh, that was the other weird thing, too, is, like, she pulls her gun on Scully. These people walk out of a store and walk in between her gun and this dude with a knife. And they just sort of walk by.
Oblivious. Yeah. But Scully takes her hostage.
There's a woman hostage who walks between them. To which then Rae Dawn Chong shoots him, and he yells, "You're in big trouble!" at her. Which
and then starts hitting on her.
Yes, that's
he's
true.
like, "Hey, you want to play house? I got a friend."
Yeah. When we say that Rae Dawn Chong shoots him,
that's in the leg.
Yeah, and this is when our borrower, who now is wearing the dad's head,
right,
is hit by a car.
Which is while the son was gone.
Yes,
the father got beheaded by the borrower.
The borrower. She hits him with the car. She runs out of the car. He's sitting up, and she goes, "Tell me you're alive." And he goes, "I'm alive."
And that really starts one of the most fascinating growth processes in a movie that I've ever seen of an alien learning how life on Earth works.
Yeah, because that's actually.
It's done in a surprisingly truthful way. Again, being truthful in humor, being truthful in the development of this character who jumps from actor to actor.
Right, yeah. And every single time, and we're totally jumping ahead here, but one of the things I thought was really cool about this movie was the fact that, like, because he's using the person's brain, part of their brain matter sort of still exists. And he's able to, like,
sort of learn from them,
use their name, take on parts of their identity.
Yeah.
And then it seems that the things that he learned from one person to the next sort of stack up.
Build on it.
And as he takes over more heads, he becomes more
savvy.
More
human.
humanoid.
Yes.
In a way that he actually becomes almost, by the last guy he takes on, he truly takes on everything that is humanoid.
Right. And it's very interesting at the beginning when he is in the father's guise, he sort of acts like Edgar from Men in Black. Sugar with water.
And I was thinking he looks like Jeffrey Jones in Howard the Duck when he is the Dark Overlord, where he's like,
Yes.
That kind of like, and he even makes a couple of those noises, which again I thought was interesting. It was so interesting.
It was because there was subtle stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And Howard the Duck was what, 86, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And then we have The Borrower, which was made in 88, and we had Men in Black, which was what, 96,
97?
I think it was 97, somewhere right around there. So yeah, I mean, these movies all sort of, I think, do in a way build upon each other.
Definitely.
Another great moment of like humor was the when the paramedics show up and they say to this cop, and this was like early in the movie where they found the father's body.
Yes, sans head.
Yes, and we don't know that there's no head yet.
That's
the
true.
Cop does. The paramedics show up and they're like, "Hey, is the guy still alive? Did you try CPR?" And the cop is like, "What do you think I am?" And he's like, "Well, why don't you guys go try CPR?" They disappear, and a minute later they come back and they're like, Okay, where's the head? We get okay. And like
it's like he's playing a joke on them.
Yeah, like that was like that's the funny part. Is
the
like,
reaction was actually pretty spot on, I would think.
Yeah.
Being that these people do deal with death constantly.
Totally.
And so they would be a bit morbid, perhaps a bit desensitized to it. Yeah.
I agree. And this starts off this long sequence where our borrower character with the dad's head meets a homeless man named Julius, and he is learning from Julius. Julius just thinks like, he's just a weird fucking dude. I'm a weird fucking dude.
He's spacey.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm doing the puns tonight.
Oh man, that's not good.
I know.
We can't both do puns.
But he
otherwise this podcast will become full of puns.
Damn it. I thought punishing would be funnier.
Well, see, I was going to go there, but that seemed really obvious.
No, you got it.
Yeah. So I wanted to say full of puns.
But Julius outfits him with some new duds.
Yeah.
A shirt.
A Hawaiian shirt.
Scarf. Also, if you can imagine it, each time he takes a head, he has a huge scar
around
his neck where the head quote unquote attaches, I guess,
and blood all over his clothing, which is really
hilarious.
Hysterical because nobody seems to like a lot of people are like, what happened there?
Yeah,
with all that blood. Anyways, how are you today? Would you like some soup?
I think it's definitely a commentary on the homelessness problem in Los Angeles in the 80s.
I also think it's a commentary on just Los Angeles in the 80s.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
There's a scene later in the movie where, like, just out of nowhere, and this is, like, just in the background. It's not even part of the movie.
Right.
Where there's a donut shop robbery where a guy murders, like, 4 people in the donut shop and runs away.
Yep. And the borrower is just sitting there, like, pouring sugar in his coffee.
Not even paying attention.
Nope.
There's that great scene where they go to the shelter.
Yes.
The borrower, Julius takes him to the shelter.
To get some food, yeah.
And they're eating this gross-looking
gruel.
I think it's pea soup is what it's...
It probably is, yeah.
And another homeless person, not Julius, puts a rat in the dude's soup, and the borrower just sort of eats the rat and then spits it at the guy.
Well, when they tell him to spit it out.
Yeah, that it's gross to spit it out. And which I thought was going to lead to a scene where the borrower is like, you were making fun of me? And then he was going to, like, kill the guy who put the rat in his soup.
Right.
But nope, instead we cut to the 3 of them drinking on a
roof.
Just
hanging out, which one of my favorite Julius...
Is such a good line.
Parts where he says...
Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba.
And he says, Beethoven's Fifth, Julius's pint.
So good. Such a smart joke.
And he takes a swig.
Yeah.
It's really good. And I really like the actor who plays Julius.
Yeah, I thought Julius was great. Antonio Fargas.
Yeah.
Who was in Foxy Brown, Shaft, and I'm Gonna Get Ya, Sucker.
Which is we have a couple of other people, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Steve James is in that.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes. Yeah. There was a lot. In fact, that might be a good cannon fodder episode in the future.
Yeah, I think so. Also, another connection... Before we get away from the father character, Bob, He was in the 1990 Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, he was. The actor's name is Tom Towles, and he played what's the character's name? Who lives
the jerk, Mr.
Henry downstairs?
Yes.
Who we both didn't love in that movie.
No, we didn't.
But I thought he was great in this. I thought his comic timing was really good.
Yep.
Oh, that's the other person he kind of reminded me of. He had a little bit of Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
There was a little bit of that, like...
Well, that was almost the direction. I really loved how, especially with Tom Towles, when the borrower had his head on, when he was mimicking Julius's movements and other people on the street's movements.
Yes.
That was really subtle and interesting.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I actually could have watched an entire movie.
Yes.
Of the borrower and Julius, or just the borrower. Like, if the entire movie was just the borrower trying to
acclimate
to society. And as he's leaving bodies in his wake, as he's trying to figure things out, there was a cop following him.
That would be fascinating.
Which they sort of do in this, but Rae Dawn Chong's cop she plays mostly is following the other guy, Scully.
Well,
which
through this whole movie, you know how storylines dovetail at the end of most movies if they are separate. This, I think, started so far out from each other. Like, she does get called in on one of those. She gets called in on
all the headless murder cases.
Yes.
But not once in the movie does she actively try to solve the murders.
Right.
She is always more about
Scully.
1-2
step behind.
Because what ends up happening is Scully, and we're kind of hopping around at this point, whatever. But what ends up happening is, like, he's shot, and then he escapes. And then the rest of the movie, she's, like, looking for him.
Right.
And he is looking to get back at her. Mm-hmm. And actually, the way he escapes is he tricks a female cop into, like, coming close to him, beats her up, and then he puts on her clothes, bra included, and makeup, and then, like, walks out pretending to be her, but... Which looks like a man with some rosy cheeks.
It's like seeing Bugs Bunny in a hunter's hat.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, that's still a... It's still a rabbit.
That's still Bugs Bunny. Yeah.
But it's entertaining enough to watch The Borrower and then have that split up by these other innocuous storylines.
Honestly, I really wish, and I know we're hopping ahead, I would love to just follow I know I already said it, but just The Borrower. That whole story was great.
Yeah.
There is one section where someone is on a phone, I can't remember who, but there is a poster for Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yeah.
And I pointed that out to you, which was kind of cool.
That was neat.
By this time, the borrower becomes Julius.
Right after he sings Beethoven's Fifth.
Well, what happens is...
it's because of the alcohol.
Yes, exactly. Alcohol's a killer.
Alcohol kills you. But it really does a number on aliens, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
And so he starts blowing up, and then he has to steal another head.
Yeah.
So he steals Julius's. Right after he steals Julius's head, there's a very cool shot of him on the beach. When he's...
That whole section... It looks like Venice Beach was near a prison.
I know. That was a very odd... I don't recognize that...
That was actually a thing.
Architecture.
I lived in LA most of my life.
And I've lived here 10 years.
And there was not one point in this movie where I was like, oh, hey.
Yeah, I recognize that corner. Yeah. No, I think it was either deep downtown. Well, also, downtown has gone through such changes in the past 30 years.
That's true, but
it's very significant.
You would still at least think some of it.
You would
the
think
beach
so.
section would at least look...
That looked
somewhat familiar.
That looked like somewhere in Long Beach, and that doesn't even make any sense.
Well, it looks like Long Beach in the sense of, like...
The industrial...
I'm guessing that's... But it doesn't look like a specific place of Long Beach.
No, you're right. This is fascinating to everybody who doesn't live in L.A.
Because when we did Death Wish 2...
Yeah. Oh, you could tell.
There was scenes where like, you can tell, like, how different the world is.
Yeah.
But at least in that movie, you're like, oh, yeah, I can see the L.A. that I know in there.
Well, this almost felt like, you know the movies where they say, oh, my God, New York was a character. San Francisco was a character in this movie. This was as if Los Angeles was having its identity obscured for its safety.
Oh, you know what I just realized?
What's that?
I just looked this up.
Yeah.
So I am sure that this movie is supposed to take place in L.A.
Well, there was a cop with an L.A. badge on the side.
It was filmed in Chicago,
Illinois. Shut the fuck up.
So that is why it probably doesn't look like any of the L.A. we know.
What beach were they using?
Well, I'm sure it's a lake.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because lakes...
stretch on for...
Yeah,
in that
area.
That's Mind-blowing.
So that's
wow.
That's fascinating.
All right.
Okay.
Then it was Chicago for LA.
That makes sense, though, why none of that looked like
the
city that I.
Phew. Learn a new thing
yeah.
every day, even during a podcast.
Seriously. I wrote down a note, like the Scully section / plot. Like, what is the point of this plot line?
I don't know. I really don't. Because it doesn't really... The problem, and we're skipping around here, is that there is no proper third act. Well, like, the whole resolution is very messy, and I'm not going to... We can go further ahead.
That's really interesting, because I do... That is a long conversation, because, like, I do think that... That's really weird, because... Well, I'm now realizing this, putting this together. So part of the problem is this movie is called The Borrower, which leads us to believe that the main story is going to be the borrower.
Yes.
The reality is there is a third act, but the entire third act takes place with Scully. When you think about it, like Scully coming in and like going into her place and attacking her.
Yes.
That is basically what like I would call the third. Like
it should be, but
that's not the storyline.
But the storyline should have dovetailed before that.
Well, no, but what I'm saying though too though is like that's a third act of a different movie.
That's true.
Like
very true.
The first act is about the borrower, and the second act, like the inciting incident, is the borrower.
Yes.
The first act break into the second act is about the borrower, and even like the second act into the start of the third act has to do with the borrower. But then like the third act mostly is about Scully.
Yes.
Then it sort of dovetails for a half a second, which is fucking weird.
It's bizarre, man.
Yes.
It really was like they shot two separate movies. Then they decided, well, we only have 45 minutes of each. Put them together, then shot one more
Good
final
thing Rae Dawn
thing.
Chong is in both of them.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Yeah, that's weird. That is weird. The more you... That's great. That's... So, as messy as all of that is, there is also something really interesting in that I feel like the movie doesn't, like, hand feed you everything.
No.
Like, there's a great moment where they ask the homeless man, not Julius, but the other homeless man, who put the rat in the borrower's soup. And the borrower at that point is the dad. The homeless man says, "What is your name?" And he says, "Bob."
Yep.
Bob
Laney.
Yeah. Which we were like...
Who the hell is Bob Laney? And at that point, I thought he had done sort of like a Kaiser Soze type of thing, where he had like heard those words before.
Earlier in the movie or something.
Right, yeah.
But then what ends up happening is when that homeless man who put the rat in the soup sees the borrower as Bob Laney killed Julius, he gets away, tells the cops what happened. The cops are like, "What's his name?" And he goes, "Bob Laney." And the cops freak out, and they're like, wait, what? Yeah. And we don't know why. And then we eventually piece together that the dad's name was Bob Laney.
Yes.
And where he pulled that name from was, like, through the brainstem that was attached to the body. It was almost as if, like, the alien was learning how to pull facts from the brainstems, because... When he becomes the second guy, who's Julius,
right.
he seems to know more and be more Julius-like.
Right. And when he is Julius on the beach, like I was talking about, there's this beautiful shot of a plane going over the beach of wherever that was, and you can see the plane in Julius's sunglasses.
Yes, that was such a cool
scene. And as that is happening...
And the Goodyear blimp as well.
Yeah, right, of course. And at the same time, you hear this weird voiceover of Julius saying his name as if he is remembering it or
and I think there's
learning
also,
it or something.
You can hear the Beethoven's Fifth in that moment.
That's right.
Too, plays over it. And at this point, like the whole Julius section feels like a fucking David Lynch movie. Because it gets weird. Like
when he goes into the...
Yeah, Julius starts walking through a hospital.
And the museum.
Well, he goes into a museum, and then he passes out, and then they bring him to a hospital. And when he's in the hospital, like, he walks past one room, and there's, like, a nurse giving a shot, and then he walks into another room.
And somebody has a elevated leg, and it drops down.
And it drops, and like... Ha ha ha!
What happened? Why?
In the next scene, there's like a doctor covering up an old man's head with the blanket and a widow crying, and then like the next one is like paddles, and then it cuts to like a doctor fucking a nurse.
Humanity.
But it's like really Lynchian the way it's sort of shot and put together, where you're like, what is this hospital? Who are these people?
Where are the people bouncing all the balls?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where's the red room? Because this makes no sense.
No.
Speaking of which, there's an actress in this movie who was in Twin Peaks.
That's true.
And we'll get there eventually.
Lovely.
But yeah, so he has that whole section as Julius's head explodes, and he takes this doctor's head.
Right.
And by that time, it seems like he learns and knows how to really become the person that was the former head owner.
Exactly. The brain. The
brain,
brain.
Basically. The doctor is played by Tony Amendola, who was in Annabelle. He was in Blow.
Yeah, he's in a bunch.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who I think
would
like
know
110 things.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the only scene where we actually see the head switch from body to body.
Yeah, there's that silhouette.
Shot so well.
That was so cool.
It was really cool.
And then he finally is, I guess, acclimated enough to being human and to accessing the brain that he takes a shower, he cleans all up in the gym, he goes and changes clothes, and he actually knows how to pull out keys from his pocket, and he's like, hey, there's my car. By the way...
Yep, I was going to point that out. You say it. Go ahead.
The license plate is HEDMED. HEDMED.
And I think it's because he was the head of the medical program.
Probably, yeah.
But, he's the head. See, there we go. There's another pun.
Exactly.
Head puns.
And not overt. They're not.
Like,
they're not.
Have to read that and be like, oh.
They're not frustratingly on the nose.
Well, and nobody winks at the camera when it's happening either. It's sort of like you either are a stupid asshole who loves puns and you get all that stuff, or it just kind of happens and like you don't even realize.
Yeah.
At this point, we get to the doctor's house where
there's a lot of weird things.
Late 80s wealth.
Yeah.
And what that looked like.
It just reminded me of the LA version of American Psycho.
Yeah, Patrick Bateman.
He's got the video record camera in the corner.
Ugh. There's like underwear, like women's underwear, but he's clearly a single guy.
Yeah. Ugh.
He looks next door and he finds his really rich neighbors watching the Garbage Pail Kids movie on a small television with headphones. Which was, and they were loving the Garbage Pail Kids movie, which is weird.
That is up their alley.
Nobody loved the Garbage Pail Kids
except
movie.
for those two. And also, they're kids. I don't know who their kids were.
Yeah, that was unclear. So I think the daughter
maybe
was their. So there was like
metal
5
band.
Teenagers hanging outside. 4 were in a metal band, and 1 was like the metal band groupie.
Yes.
The daughter was played by Madchen Amick.
Midchen Amick,
who she was the one on Twin Peaks. She's also on Riverdale.
Oh wow.
There's just so many weird moments in this movie where she's like, "Hello, Doctor, whatever his name, Cheeves or whatever."
Yeah, sure.
He like just stares at her weirdly and walks into the room. And I even said to AJ in the moment, I was like, "Well, if that doesn't pay off, that is basically for us to let us know that
he's acting weird around people."
Yeah, and then it turns out that doesn't pay off.
It kind of does.
No, it does not pay off.
It really doesn't because
she
goes in the house.
Yeah,
and
she would have to go like make a phone call or something. All she does is film her friend doing metal songs.
Yeah, which was probably the least worthwhile scene in the whole movie.
At about this point,
to set up a whole new group of people just seemed so ridiculous if they're just going to be cannon fodder for like half a scene.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's exactly what ends up happening. Because like, I feel like at this point the movie takes a turn for
the crazy,
the insane, because they hear a dog barking outside.
That was his dog, too.
Yes.
So as the doctor, the borrower goes around and does some weird shit. He, like, eats a raw egg.
Yeah.
Or, like, bites a raw egg. And then he sees his dog, or the doctor's dog, and opens the door. And then swear I knew it immediately that was going to happen.
I thought, no way, it's too stupid.
And yet,
but eventually what ends up happening is like they hear this dog barking,
and the
metal
singer,
band hears the dog barking, and they're like, that's fucking annoying. So the lead singer goes,
I'm gonna go kill it and eat it.
Yeah, he goes out and he like tells the dog to shut up and whatever, and like sprays it. All of a sudden, breaking through the wooden fence
is the borrower
Doghead Man.
Doghead Man.
The borrower
Doghead Man.
Doghead Man.
Doghead Man. Doing whatever a doghead man can. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. He was the most ridiculous.
But
I laughed so hard. I was like, what the fuck is happening now?
I do want to say, that dog costume, like the little that they showed of it, the hands and the face of the dog man...
Doghead Man.
Really looked
Doghead
good.
Man. Yeah, it did. Well, and what ends up happening is the girl shoots Doghead Man.
Yep.
Doghead Man goes down.
Uh-huh.
Then we cut to Rae Dawn Chong having a dream where Scully is going to attack her.
Yeah, I guess.
And she wakes up and she's like, oh my God. The phone rings. They're like, hey, there's a monster. Come check it out. It's weird. It has to do with the headless guys.
Yep.
They get there and they're like, it is a monster.
That's crazy.
Yep, that's crazy. She and her partner go and have a drink.
And this scene was the weirdest placed scene.
This whole section is the weirdest placed section. Because, like, at this point, our borrower is now dead. And this is what I mean by, like...
Exactly.
We move into the third act without the borrower.
Yes.
And the third act is all about Scully. Because if you think about, like, the second act break would be...
After the Doghead Man.
Would be when the Doghead Man gets shot.
Yes.
So what ends up happening is she just goes back to her apartment. What I do want to say, which I really appreciate about this movie a lot, and we haven't talked about the partner a lot. So we have Rae Dawn Chong, who's sort of like our lead detective, young, black female, and then her partner, who shows up throughout the movie, but is really a non-entity.
No, he's just a grizzled partner guy.
Played by Don Gordon, Towering Inferno and Bullet and Papillon.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of those old school actors.
I didn't know he had a name, and apparently it's Charles.
It's Charles.
Yep.
An old white dude.
Yeah.
I think any other movies of the late 80s, it would actually have been opposite. Like, the old grizzled white dude is having, like, the issues and trying to figure stuff out.
Of course.
And then, like, the young detective, the young female cop would have been murdered or shot or, like, been the fodder. And this, it's switched that, which I actually really enjoyed.
And I actually really liked the scene between her and the police officer that had been attacked, the female police officer that was attacked.
By Scully way earlier that we kind of mentioned.
And I wonder, and I didn't pay total attention to that, but would it pass the Bechdel test? I wonder. I mean, they do talk about Scully, or they do talk about what she's gone through.
Everything that she does is about man, the man that attacked her, and question mark raped her. We don't know. They don't make that clear.
Because she is naked because he undresses her. But and also, isn't that what he was going to jail for? Was rape and sodomy?
No.
Yes.
Is that what they said?
Do you remember when she's got the gun on him at the very beginning? She says, "You're going to jail for rape, sodomy, and assault."
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. It was weird.
I don't remember.
But so possible. I don't know, man. This was a weird movie. But
anyways, so what ends up? The cops talking.
The cops talking at the bar. This is after the Doghead Man. And they're talking about settling down and how weird life is. And if it was me, the beer and the second beer and the third beer and the fourth beer that night, I would be talking nonstop about the Doghead Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what is that?
Yeah, and they've already heard multiple people describe this entity as an alien or as doing these weird alien-like things.
And the coroner actually says the blood type is foreign. We don't know where it's from.
Right, but they got it from the son at the very beginning who witnessed the landing of the craft.
That's true.
And then they get a very similar story from the homeless man. I don't know, man. Like, their attitude about life is just so confusing.
This goes back to what's, again, when you talk about the third act, because I think that's also really important, is like the Dogman thing happens, and then all we're on is like she's a dream about Scully.
Yep.
She goes to the Doghead Man crime scene, but that's like wrapped up in like 2 seconds. Then they're at the bar, and then she goes home,
right,
where Scully actually enters her apartment and she shoots Scully.
Yep.
And then she's at work. And her partner's like, it's hell of a thing killing a man. She's like, well, I've never done that before. And it's all about Scully.
Yep.
And then she gets a phone call after like 12 minutes about Scully. She gets a phone call from
the coroner, Connie,
who basically goes, hey, you need to come down here. I don't think your Doghead Man is dead.
Right.
They go down there, and Doghead Man is attacked.
Has attacked Connie, the coroner. Taken her head. Now she's a wild monster.
So then they shoot Connie, And then all of a sudden, guess who pops out? Scully. Scully is Doghead Man.
Jesus.
They shoot Scully a bunch of times. A couple of paramedics.
He's writhing around. And the feds as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, cops come and shoot him.
Yep.
The paramedics come, and there's a fed in the ambulance.
Right.
And they start pulling away. And this was actually one of my favorite lines, is Rae Dawn Chong goes, they don't know what they're doing. And the chief of police goes, right. Feds never do. Cut to the ambulance and a hand coming around, the alien hand coming around. Cut to Rae Dawn Chong thinking. Cut to flash on eyes as the fed is pulled in the back of the ambulance.
No.
Cut to Rae Dawn Chong thinking. Cut to the ambulance.
An explosion of blood against the windshield.
Cut to Rae Dawn Chong thinking. And blackout.
Credits. It reminded me of the end of the Twilight Zone movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where Lithgow is in the back of the ambulance and he was like, you want to see something really scary?
Yeah. There's also sort of a similar ending to The Burbs.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
This movie was full of insanity. And I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Up until Doghead Man... That Doghead Man section.
That was a mess afterwards.
After that, the movie just is like, wait, what is the ending of this?
Yeah.
Like I said, the simple fix on this is the detectives, Rae Dawn Chong and Don Gordon, the whole time, all they do is they are after the killer.
Yes.
This one serial killer, and they both refuse to believe in the aliens, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that's a better movie. They don't need Scully.
Oh, God, no.
Scully would be a fine character to, like, introduce us to her.
Mm-hmm. And then not go back to...
Then we don't need to go back to him.
Right, yeah.
It would be an interesting thing if she makes a choice not to shoot Scully to kill him, but he just goes to prison, right? Disappears, boom, done, the end. And then later on, she chooses to kill the guy. Like, whatever that is.
Well, you know what I think? The best way to still include Scully and to still include the borrower together is have that dovetail at the end of the second act, rather than the ridiculousness of Doghead Man. Have Scully, after he escapes, start breaking into people's houses to rob them, or to something or other. Somehow, no matter how formulaic or forced, get him and the doctor together. Then the borrower, as the doctor, steals Scully's head. Now Scully/borrower is the bad guy for the rest of the movie.
Going after her.
There's
an easy fix. If Scully is part of the criminal world, you just have the doctor be the kind of doctor who will
works on mob boss.
Take $5,000 cash to stitch up a gunshot to the leg.
There you go.
That works. I buy that. Yeah. I mean, it is huge coincidence that, that just so happens to be, but some, movies have coincidence.
Or he goes to the hospital where the doctor is, and he jumps into the doctor's car and says, "Take me to your home and stitch me up."
What I mean by
something like that.
The coincidence is that we have just the two men she's happened to be chasing run into each other. No matter how they get together, that's a coincidence.
Something or other. Yeah.
But we will buy that the one time in a movie.
Totally. Rather than it having to be the morgue that they end up in.
Oh, boy.
Because who really thought that they had killed the Doghead Man?
Doghead Man. Not gonna kill the Doghead Man.
And now he's in the FBI. Doghead Man. Doghead Man.
Doghead Man is an FBI agent. That's a good sequel.
I know. Also, I just want to say there was a line...
Dog Guy?
FBI K9. There was a line, I wish I had written down who said it or what said it. Pretty sure it was the partner. Said, "This is a strange piece of shit." And I think that should have really been the log line for this.
Yeah, instead of "don't lend him anything you can't afford to lose," it should just be "this is a strange piece of shit."
Like, not in a bad way either. No. Just...
This is a strange piece of shit.
This is a strange piece of shit, man.
The budget for this movie was only $2 million.
That's shocking to me.
Every penny of that was on the screen.
Yes, it was. Even the transformation of the hands and the... Also, that was something that I thought was very interesting. So, we think that through the movie, it was just the one body replacing heads.
Yes, that is what it is supposed to be.
Right. But I think it's interesting because... when he switches to Julius, his arms are black. But it's very interesting that his arms transform whenever he's killing someone you know, to strangle them and take their head.
Yeah.
They transform into an alien hand. And of course, when he's putting the head onto the body, it's sort of like acclimating to whoever or whatever he's doing. Because when he's the dog, he has dog hands.
I guess, yeah.
You know? So I think that when the head is attached, it transforms the hands.
Transforms the rest of the body.
Just as like a chameleon survival. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, it's easier for the actor, too.
Well, I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like they have to like reverse it.
Especially that dog, you know?
Yeah, how do they get that dog to walk on its back feet?
That was impressive.
And put on pants.
And murder that guy.
What is canon to this movie for you? What are we throwing in? I have a couple of things.
Well, I really want to steal that shot of the sunglasses because for some reason the sunglasses play a big part in this. Well, he starts appreciating light hurts his eyes, but he starts appreciating the sunglasses and the look of them, and he starts like being more comfortable with them. And I really love that shot of Julius Borrower on the beach. That reflection.
Yes.
Also, we didn't talk about it at the beginning, but while we were watching the movie, we noticed that the first 4 or 5 scenes started with two characters in a vehicle.
Yes, of
some sort, talking to each other. And there were very interesting establishing shots, very interesting character building. I actually remember back to, what was the Dracula movie, Last Rites, where we started with that very mysterious beginning car scene. I like that.
I mean, that is such an LA thing, being in a vehicle all the time.
That's true.
Because
nowhere else,
Illinois.
Yeah, because nowhere else has cars.
But not like
I know.
LA. I mean, like, that is a thing that is so specifically LA.
Yeah.
Is like,
and hunting deer in Griffith.
Well, that's a whole other thing. But like living your life in a car is such an LA
that's the truth.
A thing. Because everywhere else has better public transportation. Or if you live in like Atlanta, Atlanta's a busy city, but you still, I don't think, spend 14 hours in traffic like you do in LA.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think that's that's the gag. I mean, like the 405 and the 5 and the 101 are the world's worst freeways.
Yeah, I love them. I love
every single one.
Love living here. Yep.
Me too.
And also cast Antonio Fargas. Man, Julius. He was awesome.
He was great.
Yeah. What about you?
I would say I thought the moment where the alien and the human are fighting, and the humans automatically side with the human, not even realizing.
Yes.
I thought that was smart and fun and interesting. And I thought that was an interesting way for the movie to start. Is like, if the humans just would have stayed the fuck out of the way, everything would be fine. I really loved everything having to do with the borrower.
Yeah.
And
the learning.
Julius learning.
Oh my God.
Like that whole section was great. I could have watched that whole, like, if the whole movie was that, I would have been happy.
Yeah. I wish that they had spent like double the amount of time with Julius learning about the city and like him killing other people rather than. No, we don't. Yeah.
We just don't have Scully. We just concentrate on that. That's like.
Yeah. I mean, we already got a murdering alien. Why do we need
a rapist?
Yeah, why do we need an evil guy?
Yeah. I loved the head switching. That whole shot sequence was so good.
In the doctor's office?
Doctor's office. I was really fascinated by like late 80s wealth and what that looked like.
Interesting.
It's terrible, but it's an interesting place. It's like an interesting location.
Yeah.
And then I really liked in this movie specifically that, especially for a movie of the time, the fact that our lead cop is the female cop. And she seems kind of tough for the most part.
Yeah, I think that was the intention.
Yeah, and I think any other movie of this era kind of flips that, and she's sort of the secondary character. Yeah. And then she becomes the thing that needs to be saved.
Right, yeah, the damsel.
And I really enjoy the fact that they switched that for this era.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this movie?
Yeah. Yes, I would.
I would too.
It really caught me. Like, the beginning of it is bananas. The
whole movie is bananas.
It is, but you get dropped into a spaceship where an alien is giving basically a sentence to an exiled alien of its species in the form of a human. What?
It starts crazy and only gets crazier.
But it had such conviction. Like, even though it was full expository sort of content, it made absolute sense immediately, and I was on board.
Oh, yeah, I was too.
I was plugged into it entire time.
And by the time Doghead shit happens and it's so weird,
Yeah.
I'm already in love with the movie. That, like, I'm with. I thought this movie was the bee's knees. I thought it was great.
Absolutely.
It was delightful in every single way.
Yeah.
This goes back to, this is a canon film I had not seen prior to this podcast.
No, me neither.
So I feel like there's been, like, what have we done, like 50 so far?
About that, yeah.
And there's been a good, like, 7 or 8 where afterwards I'm like, I want to burn this podcast to the ground because I hate everything about it. Yeah. And I can't believe I had to sit through this. But then there's been another 7 or 8 where I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
If we didn't have this, I would have never seen this movie. And this movie was great in, like, its own weird, crazy way.
Little gems in it.
Yeah.
And that makes the whole movie.
I thought John McNaughton was swinging for the fences, and was everything a home run? Not quite. But it was real fucking entertaining.
Yeah, it really was.
So that's the kind of thing. Like, it kind of reminds me of Doing Time on Planet Earth. Where
yeah,
it's like,
man.
It's right down that, like, I'm so happy that I saw that movie. I'm so happy that I saw this. Well, they were crazy. They were insane. They were stupid. But, man, were they fun.
I say
and it's in it.
A must-watch. Absolutely.
So, yeah. Cool.
Well, that was
The
Borrower.
I was trying
AKA Doghead Man.
Doghead Man. Doghead Man. Whatever a doghead can.
All right, Nick, what do we got on the next time wheel?
AJ, we, next time, well, look.
Yes?
You know.
Is it that time of year?
It is that time of year.
Sure.
Well, here's where it's coming from. Remember in our canon blast about the remake of Black Christmas, the 2019 remake of Black Christmas.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that you had never actually seen the original Black Christmas.
I do remember saying that.
And I literally shit a house of bricks.
Yeah. I actually made a house out of those.
Yeah, that's where we're doing this podcast right now.
It's warm, actually.
It's very warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little on the unsanitary side.
A little smelly.
But
it's fine.
You had to go there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, I figured we needed to correct that mistake.
I need to be corrected.
Yes. So, Canon didn't make a ton of Christmas movies.
Right.
So, in order to celebrate Christmas, we are going to do 1974's Black Christmas.
Yay!
The original slasher movie that started it all.
Wait. This 2019 one wasn't the first one?
It wasn't even the second one.
What?
There was another one in 2006, which is an actual house of turds that is really fun to watch with a crowd.
Okay.
But I would not call it fun to watch by yourself.
Well, okay. I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm excited to watch Black Christmas.
I am going to go on record to say this is easily one of my top 3 horror films.
Okay.
One of my top 3 Christmas films, and easily in my top 10 movies of all time.
Damn, that is high praise.
I love this movie.
Okay.
I hope you like it too.
And I hope you guys like our episode next
week when we talk about it.
Indeed.
All right.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. Nick, where can we follow you? You
can follow me at nicholascpappas.com and on Twitter at nicholascpappas. Someday I will tweet or update those websites.
I love it.
Not anytime soon, though.
Yeah, that's fine. We got things to do, and so do you. And thank you for listening. I am at the AJ Hamilton and www.theajhamilton.com, on the webs. And you can follow us at Creating Canon all over the websites that you follow people on, and you can email us creatingcanon@gmail.com. That's CANNON, 2 of those N's in the middle there. And we just want to thank you so much for listening, and we hope you come back next week. And as we always say, Nicholas,
good night and good canon. Doghead man. Doghead man.
Doghead man. All right, here we go.
We must increase our bust.
The hemorrhoid situation.
Wait, what was that line? Because that was the thing
know.
Too.
And there's nothing that turns you off so much. This is garbage.
You are a monster.
I am.
Like a man with a dog head. Doghead man. Doghead man. It is a Dughead Man.
Watch out for him. He'll eat your can of tuna.
Dughead Man. Dughead Man.
The borrower was a Dughead Man.
Dughead Man. Dughead Man.
That may not have been his whole plan. Dughead Man.
Dughead Man.
He turned into Scully and then he ran.
Dughead Man. Dughead Man. Him and Rae Dawn Chong, I do stand. Dughead Man. Dughead Man. Is this thing on?
Gonna get some Dughead Man bones. Dughead Man. Dughead Man. Gonna eat that Alpo out of the can with Dughead Man.
Doghead Man rides again.
Yes.
Doghead Man goes west.
With Feifel.
Oh,
it's a metaphor. Starting.
There are no cats in... I thought you were going to do a countdown.
5.
There are no
4,
cats in
3,
America. I'm a
2,
fucking professional.
1.